Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm going to recommend you some fantasy books that are easy to read. So let's get started with today's video. Start with, I'm going to get the most obvious one out of the way, and I'm speaking about Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. Now I'm holding out the last and final book in the series, which is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, just because I own only this as a physical copy. Now, everyone knows something about Harry Potter, right? It is one of not it is not one of the series, it is the series which got us millennials into the habit of reading. It is about this 11-year-old boy who finds out that he's a wizard, and his journey in life from 11 to 17 years, which is a total 7 years and 7 books of heaven if you ask me. You can read Harry Potter in any time of your life, whether you're a kid, you're a youngster, or you're a 30 plus person, 40 plus person. If you're a 90 plus person, even then you can read Harry Potter, because it has so many life lessons we can learn during any stage of our lives. And more than a book series, it is a huge adventure which we can enjoy and find very easy to read. So go for Harry Potter if you want to dip your toes into fantasy, or if you just want to get into reading itself. The book I'm going to recommend next is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Now, this is the newest book of all the books that I'm going to recommend today. I'm recommending Children of Blood and Bone because it is one of those hyped books which everyone mostly has read, those who read fantasy. So it will be easier for you to read because it is young adult and it has all the tropes in normal fantasy books which we read. But the most important thing about this book is that it just gives all those tropes in an African backdrop. So it'll be more different to read because the culture of Africa is not explored in the fantasy genre to such an extent at all. And Tomi Adeyemi has done a very good job in doing this because the story is incredibly fast paced. You just go on moving from chapter to chapter to chapter. It might seem a bit too usual. The incidents in the book might seem usual, but the place where the things happen is not at all usual, or the places which we are used to seeing in normal fantasy books. It is diverse and it is very much fast paced, and you can have a very good time. It is huge, so you can also end up reading this for a longer time and enjoying it a lot. This book that we are going to see today is Wonder Woman Warbringer by Lee Bardugo. Now, this is the first book in the DC Icons series, which has 4 books on the whole, and each book can be read alone. That is, each of the books in the series is a standalone. It consists of 4 books, which are Wonder Woman, Catwoman, Batman, and Superman, of which I've read all the 3 except Superman. And I should say that Wonder Woman is the second most favorite of mine. It must have been my most favorite of all the 4 because it is Lee Bardugo, my favorite author of all time. Now, in Wonder Woman Warbringer, we just see the story of Diana as we saw it in the movie, but the thing in this is that she doesn't have a male companion. She just has a female companion named Alia, and it is not a romantic relationship between them. It's a sisterhood compared to anything else. And in the book, we mostly deal with the Mosquera, who are uh, the island in which all the Amazons live, and the connection between all the Amazons. It is so easy to read and it is so enjoyable to read. You can see that there's a lot of research that has been put into the writing of the Mosquera compared to the whole story. And you might think that it is a bit boring at times because Lee Bardugo's writing is in such a way that she doesn't write things that get fired up from the beginning of the story itself. You must give it some time, and the writing, as usual, is so beautiful. And I should say that the plot is not that strong throughout the book. It does dance a bit here and there, but due to the character of Wonder Woman that has been written, the story is very easy to read, and it is also young adult. It is not the original story of Wonder Woman at all. The main point of the DC Icons series is to display the DC Icons as young adult characters and show their stories in such a way, in which way the book has done a very good justice to the character of Wonder Woman. She has also set the motto of Wonder Woman wearing such a costume for her fights, and how she is as strong as a woman. So you must read Wonder Woman Warbringer if you like female characters and you like beautiful writing as well. The next book that I am going to recommend today is a series which is The Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin. Everyone knows Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is based off of the story from A Song of Ice and Fire, of which we have 5 books out now. This is the first volume of the last book, which is A Dance with Dragons, Volume 1. I have all the 5 books in the series. I'm holding this because this is one of my most favorite parts of the story. The characters move in such a way it is so engaging to read, and the plot twists and the crystallization of the schemings in the book or the series are very well executed in this part of the entire series. And apart from that, the main thing of recommending Game of Thrones to you guys is that it has excellent characters. You cannot see such good characters in most fantasy books. The characters are explained in such a way that they have multiple layers. Not even a single character in Game of Thrones is good or bad. They're always grey and always multi-layered, which makes the story even more compelling and even more enjoyable to read. I must say that if you are not that much used to reading descriptive books, please don't go for the Song of Ice and Fire as your first fantasy genre book, because you will get disappointed a lot, because more than half of the books consist of a lot of descriptions, and the main purpose of the descriptions is the twists in the plot, which Martin hides very masterfully in the descriptions. So if you like reading books with heavy world building and very intricately designed characters, go for A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin. The next book that I'm going to recommend is Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo. I have it in this beautiful, gorgeous collector's edition. Now, Six of Crows can be easily described as a combination of Guardians of the Galaxy and Game of Thrones. Just think of Guardians of the Galaxy in a fantasy setup. Six of Crows is such a beautiful story in that way. If you are a character-driven reader or a plot-driven reader, you're going to love this for sure, because the characters in this book are so masterfully done. There are 6 main characters in the story. We have 6 points of view throughout the story, and all of them are so unique from each other, and they have different voices for each and every character, so you don't get confused between who's doing what. And the one of the main things about Six of Crows is that it has a lot of dialogue, which is very much enjoyable to read, because I am a person who likes seeing conversations between characters in the story, and Six of Crows does it in a very good way. And the plot of the story is that there are 6 misfits who have to work together in order to pull an incredible heist of getting a hostage out. And if they get this hostage out, they are going to get a huge load of money. But the heist is not that simple. The hostage is kept in the most secure place in the world. It can be compared like the Pentagon in our world. It is so good, and you can just try giving Six of Crows a read, because I'm sure that you will end up liking it. If you pick up one book of all the books that I'm recommending you today, I'd suggest you Six of Crows rather than any other book, because it deserves to be read by everyone. So just give this beautiful thing a go. The final book that I'm going to recommend today is Airborne by Christopher Paolini. Now, this is the first book in the Inheritance Cycle Quartet, which consists of 4 books: Airborne, Eldest, Brissinger, and Inheritance. I've read Airborne alone of all the 4, and I have the next 2 in the series with me. I will be reading them this year for sure. Now, Airborne is a classical fantasy, and it was written by Christopher Paolini while he was 15, 16 years old. So it is so nice to read, and you can, I don't know, but it just gave me a sense of nostalgia while reading the story throughout. It is a big book, and it is not boring to read. Just as I said, it just feels so old to read. It feels so classical, and if you like such books that are a bit cheesy but also so classical to read, so beautiful to read, then go for Airborne by Christopher Paolini. I can describe this as sweet golden sand. It was so beautiful and so enjoyable to read. It made me nostalgic. I don't know why it made me feel nostalgic, but I felt the grab of nostalgia a lot while reading Airborne. That is all for today, and if you did find the video interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share the video. And after you read the books, don't feel shy to share your opinions about the books in the comments below, so that we can discuss on them in this media. And also subscribe to the channel if you like to get more content from me. Thanks for watching.